Hi, I'm David Traversi, and this is part of our series called How to Sell Your Business. We're talking about managing the sales process, and this episode deals with negotiating key PSA terms as part of the LOI. Again, PSA is Purchase and Sales Agreement, LOI is Letter of Intent. One of the biggest mistakes a seller can make is to quickly accept an LOI that appears to meet the seller's primary expectations. The parties then enter into the extensive process of consummating the transaction, a large part of which is negotiating the PSA. And in that process, the seller discovers that they have expectations about key understandings that are diametrically opposed to those of the buyer. A common example arises where the LOI specifies that the PSA will have reps and warranties ordinarily found in such agreements. Well, therein lies a bomb just waiting to detonate. For example, a buyer expects a seller to rep or represent that there is no potential litigation affecting the business. The seller will not rep to anything other than that they are unaware of any potential litigation. In other words, will it be an absolute rep about a condition or a rep about a knowledge of a condition? Many a deal have blown up over such disagreements. At the same time, you don't want to negotiate every element of the PSA in the LOI, or you'll spend a fortune on lawyers and likely blow up the transaction before you really get a chance to gain valuable traction. So we recommend working closely with your lawyers to define the absolute must-haves in an ultimate agreement and the nice-to-haves. There will always be a risk that a deal falls apart in negotiating the PSA, but your objective is to minimize that risk. A thoughtful LOI is a means of accomplishing that. Now's a good time to jump ahead to a future episode and read about those key PSA terms that you'll want to anticipate in the LOI. One last item, deposit or no deposit. The usual practice in sales of businesses of all size is to not require a deposit, as is normal in the sale of homes, for instance. We're not sure why this practice never evolved. We recommend that you request outside the LOI and prior to signing the LOI a proof of financial capability. This can come in many forms, but the best way is to simply ask, can you please provide me with documentation proving how you will pay for my business? That might be a bank statement or a letter from their lawyer or CPA that states that their client has the resources to close the purchase. Thank you, and look for future episodes of How to Sell Your Business.